Violence in Nicaragua has claimed at least 15 lives this week as protests against President Daniel Ortega rage on. The Central American nation celebrated Mother's Day on Wednesday, a bitter day for this mother whose son was killed in the protests.
On this day, we cannot say that there's joy because there is no joy anymore. A son is not coming home because of this protest. To have love is to have them alive, but now they're no longer here, present in our hearts.
The violence began in mid-April as people took to the streets protesting planned changes to the Nicaraguan social security system. The government scrapped those plans, but the rallies only grew and evolved into protests against Ortega's leadership. The UN says more than 100 have been killed in all and more than 1,000 injured since the protests began. Protesters blame government forces.
We were victims of attack from Ortega's, paramilitaries, supporters, and police.
But the Ortega government blames criminal gangs and rejects any responsibility for the violence.
The death of any human being on this planet when they die violently is painful, and of course it's painful, these deaths, these kids, these youngsters, these young people of different political views.
On Thursday, the Secretary General of the Organization of American States said the violence must end.
Nicaragua
lived through another tragic day yesterday, a day of repression, violence, and death. We condemn the murders committed yesterday by the repressive forces and the armed groups, and we are in solidarity with the victims' families. We call on the state to stop the violence of these repressive factors.
The UN Human Rights Office is urging the Nicaraguan government to conduct an impartial investigation and is calling for government forces to prevent future aggression and stop the violence. Jim Spellman, CGTN, Washington.